famous you are and stuff. But nobody, well, maybe for me, nobody goes into the entertainment industry on some, I want to be famous. You do it because you love it and it's something, that you feel like is your calling. Maybe that's just me.
Okay.
That's just me.
Yeah. I was actually about to say that people go into it for the fame.
I had a lawyer and I had my dad have that conversation.
Mm.
I was there in the room. I said nothing. I heard all the nice things, and that's all I heard. I didn't hear all the logistics and stuff because I'm a creative and I'm not really thinking. It's very difficult to put my face to my music because you don't expect me to sound like that. Well, you don't. You look at me and you don't expect me to sing like that or to sound like that.
Welcome to another episode of Sounds Good Enough. Today I have a singer, performer, and all sorts of range things. Her name is Zinah Rose. Right? For people who are watching, would like to know who is Zinah Rose.
Zinah is a singer, songwriter, presenter, creative. I'm an entertainer.
Okay.
And I'm a wife. Sorry.
And you're a wife.
I'm also a wife. Yes.
Okay. I'm guessing that's your.
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right. What's the one thing that you wish you knew before you started being a performer and artist?
I wish I knew that it was gated, that only certain people would be allowed in and certain people would be allowed opportunities.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair, but it's very difficult to manage sometimes because no matter how hard you try, somehow, you have to know the right people. You have to, it's just very difficult. But I just would have liked to know that, hey man, just so you know, it's not really an everybody's welcome. It's kind of like whoever gets in, but it's not always by luck or whatever. Yeah, I think so. That's what I think.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like if you have talent, you can in any.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Look, people who are talented, I've seen have made it through, but have had their difficulties. But I've realized more often than not, and I'm not saying that anyone in the industry is not talented, but talent won't get you far.
Okay.
It won't get you. You can be the most talented person ever, but it'll still be difficult to break through.
It kind of is like how things work in general, though, like in the world, even in like the work space, even in the. Can I say like even in government as well? It's like
but
the honestly about like who you know.
No, truly, but the thing is in corporate, you go through a screening process. It's the interview, so they look at what you've done, what you studied, where you've worked, and they go according to your credentials.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what credentials you have. You could have been in this industry for 1 year and you get in just via the people that you know. Or you could be in for 9 years and you're still standing outside waiting for them to let you in. So it really does depend on the person.
I agree. And I do also disagree because like maybe that's how it was in the past. But like right now, it kind of has shifted into like, who do you know?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Who do you know who like references?
Who your plugs?
Who your plugs? Who do you know at HR? Like there's some people who go to an interview and they already know they have the job because.
I guess so.
Yeah.
In some places.
Yeah, in some places. Yeah, definitely. We still have like places where your credentials and like, who you actually, what you've done matters, right? So do you think like that's something you'd like to change in that space?
Yeah, man. I think everyone deserves an opportunity to try, at least try. Like try something, and then if you really feel like I'm going to fail, then you let me at least try.
Yeah.
As opposed to and maybe it won't be said in the blatant English of no, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
But you can sense in the energy and how certain people treat you, and if you like, you could send someone a biography of all the performances that you've done and all of the things that you've been on, with TV, radio, whatever the case may be, and they'll still look the other way and be like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So it really does depend. And I guess, that's maybe some of my experiences and stuff like that. It may be different for other people, but I genuinely do believe that each and every single person who wants to, try and be in the music or in the entertainment industry, has to have an opportunity to be like, okay, cool. Is this something that I really would like to do?
Yeah.
Who are the people that I can talk to? Even if it means it's an audition process,
Yeah.
like for, big events or whatever, then cool. I've been there. They've seen me. They've seen my talent or whatever, and then they can choose based on that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
these days, obviously, it's based on following, how famous you are and stuff. But nobody, well, maybe for me, nobody goes into the entertainment industry on some, I want to be famous. You do it because you love it and it's something, that you feel like is your calling. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah. I was actually about to say that people go into it for the fame.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, sure. Fair enough. There are people who go into it for like the love of art, but also in the back of the mind, it's like you also want to have that fame because of what it comes with as well.
Well, I think the fame for me is a byproduct.
Mm.
I always wanted to sing because it made me happy and I felt closest to God when I was singing and writing music, So it was never about everybody must know me and people must scream and my name comes up. It was just I wanted to do this as a job. Like an accountant would go and do auditing and, do all the accountancy stuff.
Mm.
I wanted to be able to do music as a career so I can also get paid for it.
Mm.
But obviously some days are better than others.
Would you say you are famous?
No, I'm definitely not famous.
And knowing what you know now, do you think it would be better if you were famous?
If I was famous, then yes, it would work. But again, that's not the first step that I wanted to take. That wasn't the vibe. But obviously, I'm looking at the way that the world is working now. You need to have some sort of following. You need to have some, some sort of fame element to you. That's what I think. Look, I could be wrong, and there's definitely different perspectives and opinions. But yeah, that's just I guess the reality of where we're at in this world today.
Yeah, you needs a bit of a clout if I might put it that way.
100%. Yeah.
But okay, there's like certain places and certain like stages, certain platforms that if somebody were to go and perform it would kind of consider them to have made it in life, right? For example, like I know you've done an eNCA performance.
Yeah.
And don't you think that also gives you like that extra push to be able to go into certain places that you would never been able to?
So, you know what? I truly believe that for me, every performance has been isolated. I didn't get one performance because of another performance that I did. It depends on maybe someone who's seen me from another walk of life or who's seen me from a different perspective, maybe social media, maybe, my manager has contacted them to say, hey, Zinah's available for the performance or something like that. But it's never been like, okay, cool, because I've been on eNCA, I've been on other platforms, I've been on SABC too, you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't mean that I've made it. It means that it's a platform. But if you start seeing me on multiple platforms at multiple different times, all in like the same, kind of umbrella, then you're like, oh, okay, how come I keep seeing this hand?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw on SABC 1, I saw on SABC 2, now she's on eNCA, now she's, you know what I'm saying? So one performance doesn't necessarily guarantee other stuff coming up. I mean, I love every single opportunity that I've had. I've been so grateful for, but I don't see myself as a famous person.
Okay. How have you gotten those opportunities though? For like somebody who's watching who would want those kind of opportunities, how did they come to you?
So I would suggest getting a manager, someone who can contact these entities for you. Because the one thing that I found is that if I go by myself as Zinah and say to, it's either whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? And I go, hey, I want to perform on SABC 1 or SABC 2 or whatever. They're going to be like, what? But if there's a sense of, okay, cool. Oh no, her label contacted them or her manager got into that conversation. You kind of then shift the perspective of, okay, this person, we can't directly get in contact with that person. There's a boundary or there's a wall to say, okay, cool. There's someone who speaks for her, and then I think that also kind of creates a professionalism around that because then you go, okay, cool. Now that there's someone who's speaking for me, I don't have to do those mundane day-to-day emailings and stuff like that. Someone does that for me and then when it comes to talking about contracts and stuff, no one's going to take you for a bari because someone is speaking for you. You have someone who's going before you and going, no, we don't want that. This is what she deserves kind of thing. As opposed to, no, now you don't know. You're thinking, okay, cool, I'm an upcoming artist. Okay, maybe I can take this amount of money for a performance when actually you should be charging a different amount. So it does create that sense of professionalism and, kind of elevating your brand a lot more, actually, I would say.
So you mentioned like contracts and managers and all of that, right? And there's been like a big talk these days about people who get robbed by their managers. And don't you fear that as well? Like you might get
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. So my biggest thing has always been, because I'm a creative, I wanna only focus on the creative stuff. So I have people, or I have a person who manages all of those difficult conversations. Like when I got signed in 2021, I had a lawyer and I had my dad have that conversation. I was there in the room. I said nothing. I heard all the nice things, and that's all I heard. I didn't hear all the logistics and stuff because I'm a creative and I'm not really thinking about the logistics of all those things. I'm like, okay, cool, I'm ready to make music. Whereas my dad and my lawyer are like, okay, cool, let's just make sure that you're protected should anything happen. So that's what I think is very, very important, to have those people. And then I have my manager now who, does all those things for me. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. Of course, I know I have the business understanding of the entertainment industry, but I don't want to have to deal with that low key. Yeah.
Okay. Gonna play like a little icebreaker.
Okay.
It's would you rather questions.
Oh, nice.
And by the way, this doesn't reflect her. It's just a game. Nothing too crazy.
Maybe it does reflect me.
Maybe it does. Maybe it does. But the first question: would you rather know what others are thinking about you, or be blissfully ignorant all the time?
Yeah, I'd rather be ignorant. I don't care a damn. I don't care a damn. I don't want to know what anyone is thinking about me, because I think about what people are thinking about me too much. So I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Is that something that bothers you though?
Yes, it bothers me a lot that I care what people think.
Okay.
It really does bother me. And I think it's one of my crippling points, because obviously you try and be the best possible person that you can be. I don't know if I'm saying that in the right English, but you really want to be a great person. So when people have a different perspective on who you are, it's like, what did I say or do that made that person think that way? So I'd rather not care, live in ignorance, live in bliss, know that I can go about my life and just be grand.
Okay.
Yeah.
The second question: have more time on earth or more money for the rest of the years that you have left?
More time or more money?
Yeah.
I would say more money, because unfortunately, money creates more opportunities. It really does. And especially like in this entertainment industry, when you're starting out, you have to invest in yourself. Producers are not cheap. Publicists are not cheap. Radio pluggers are not cheap. Photo shoots are not cheap. Hair and makeup is not cheap. So money.
So you don't think if you were able to live for like maybe 500 years, you'll be able to make all of that money? And
but now I'm aging while that's happening.
Yeah, but like slowly, like you would age how you would normally age, but like slowly.
No. Unless you tell me I have time because I can be a vampire. Then I don't age. I look the same. Then I'll say, okay, cool, time, because then I can do this forever, for real, know. Whereas the money element kind of, I don't want to say it speeds up the process, but kind of just goes, okay, it gives you more of a kickstart. So you start up here as opposed to going, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. The last question is: fulfill your biggest wish, or go back in time and erase all your biggest regrets?
Ew. I mean, if it wasn't for my regrets, I wouldn't be here today. So I would say fulfill my biggest wish.
You don't feel like there's a regret that you would like to remove? Maybe if that didn't happen, your life would have turned up a bit different?
No, because everything happens the way that it should be. And I think everything happens for a reason. I'm a big fan of God. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
So I always believe that anything that I went through, God has used to put me in this position that I'm in today.
That's true.
And if I go back and erase those things, I might end up in a different path. And we don't want that. You know what I mean?
If it's a really good path, though?
Any path would be a really good path if it's given to me by God. So it wouldn't change anything. I'd still end up where God wants me to be. Because innately that's exactly what I would like, is for God to put me in that place. But it wouldn't really change anything, I don't think.
Okay. All right. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. I also would like to fulfill. I
Yeah,
believe the same thing.
no,
Like
100%.
our mistakes, our
They are
regrets is
necessary.
what made us to be who we are today. Okay. How would you describe your music?
It's funny because my husband said this was actually last night.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it and stuff like that, and he was like, "Your it's very difficult to put my face to my music
Mm.
because you don't expect me to sound like that. Well, you don't. You look at me and you don't expect me to sing like that or to sound like that. And so I think my music is very different because of what I sound like.
Okay.
And it could be, the same kind of sound or like genre as another person, but because of my voice and how I sing, it can be completely different. But I describe my music as fun, insightful, lifting, encouraging, sad, convicting. It really makes you, because I look at myself from within myself when I write music. I never write music from a position of like, oh yeah, I want to lie to people. I always want to tell the truth about my journey and where I've been and what I've experienced. So yeah.
Okay. So every song you've ever written and done, it's based on like how you were feeling in that moment and your
Yeah.
experiences
Hmm.
in that moment. No, that's good. Okay. I also saw that you do voiceovers.
Yes.
Is it what kind of voiceovers? Is it like for ads? Is it for like animation?
It's been
Is it
for
like
ads,
for
for animation, for sorry to cut you by the way. It's been for ads, animation, corporate,
yeah?
like those phone responses, like the automated telephone responses. I've
Really?
done voiceovers for pretty much everything.
Okay.
And I didn't, to be honest, I thought my voice was annoying, so I didn't really know that people actually would pay me to speak. So
Okay.
it's yeah, it's interesting and it's a blessing.
How did you get to that though? To say like, did somebody pick you up and say like, oh, you have a nice voice. Why don't you do this? Or is it?
No, so because of my presenting, when you're doing like a video, because
Hmm.
obviously it'll show your face and then it'll end up being a voiceover if they cut into different parts of the videos and stuff
Hmm.
like that. So that's how it started happening. I would do presenting things here and there, and then it would translate into voiceovers.
Okay. So you also said animation.
Mm.
Is there like any animation that we
It
know
was a
of?
long
Or
time ago. It was the Baby Lion King, but I had to dub it in Zulu.
oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was a long time ago. Yo, that was a couple of years ago.
Was this for what? For school or just like for media?
For media, like it was for the actual, I think it was Lion Guard. Yes, for the Lion Guard.
Okay.
So yeah, it was for TV.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is it something that you do or like you've only done a couple of
So I've
times?
only
It's like something you love doing, I meant to say.
sure. So what do you mean in terms of like
Like doing the voiceovers
yeah.
and
I love doing voiceovers because it's the easiest thing I can like it's the easiest thing. Like
is it?
it's very for me.
Mm.
Obviously there's moments where like, words are difficult or whatever, but yeah, I think it's really easy and it's fun.
Mm.
I believe in doing things that are fun, not necessarily easy. Like obviously you want things to, stretch you and stuff, which it does. Like there's some voiceovers that I've done, which I've had to do the same line again like 5 times, but in different ways. That's difficult. That can be difficult sometimes.
Okay.
But because I'm using my natural ability to speak, it's not like completely difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, that's interesting. I've also wanted to do like voiceover. I think voiceover is cool,
Okay, cool.
especially for animation. But
Yeah.
like sometimes, especially with animation, since we have like a script and lines to, do you not forget some of the lines? Like maybe, because like there's like a level of even like your voice, how it needs to sound in that moment, it needs to sound sad, it needs to,
Yeah, no, preparation is everything.
Mm.
And I treat every single job like it could be my last job.
Mm.
Because you can't operate from a position of, oh yeah, no, I know what I'm doing or whatever. You have to go in there being open to being directed.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there will be someone there who says, okay, cool, please try it like this or please do it like that. So you have to be prepared.
Sure.
You have to go over and above what they ask you to do.
Sure.
Because I think what I've learned more often than not is that I've been booked a lot more for voiceovers because I'm easy to work with. And
Okay.
at the end of the day, like that's all a client wants is someone who's not going to give them a hassle, who's going to make things easy and who
Just
does
get
the
in,
job
do
well.
the job.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. What's the one thing you'd say that you don't like about South African media, like as a whole, like music, movies, whatever, from, as a whole, as in like what you've done?
What I don't like.
Mm.
I don't know. I mean, there's things here and there where you say and you're just like, oh my word, why? But
Mm.
I can't pinpoint anything that I don't like per se. But yeah, I think the ability for us to like attack someone is a bit scary sometimes.
Mm.
Like,
Like cancel couch.
yeah,
Okay.
I think look, it's very important to call people out for the things that they do,
Yeah.
and but if you're going to call someone out and hold them accountable, you need to also be prepared to rehabilitate that person. And as a community, as a South African community, I think sometimes we forget that people, make mistakes, that people are human.
Yeah.
Look, we're not going to excuse some hectic stuff like things to do with rape and all that. Like GBV, like okay, that for me is a line that is because you have a brain.
Yeah.
You can think and know that something that you're doing is wrong
Yeah.
towards a person or whatever. But like, say for example, someone posts something and they're trying to be funny or whatever, and we're just like, no, we don't like you. So then the whole of South Africa is just there, just going at this person. But I think at the same time, in that same regard, we are also a community that supports their people when we really, really like them. But if South Africa doesn't like you, it's tough. It is very
Yeah,
tough.
it is very
It
tough.
is very tough.
Yeah,
It is very tough.
you can't really actually like control that, like
No,
how people like you. You could be like the nicest person. The
you
one
could
person
be
I
the
like,
nicest. Yeah.
yeah, I'll make a good example with is Donald. You know Donald,
The
right?
singer Donald. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
that guy is just hated for no reason.
I don't know.
This
I
day, I
wonder what
don't
did he
know.
do? What did he?
I
That's all
don't
I want
know
to know. What did
what.
he do?
It's always been clown ever since
I'm so dead. You see, but that's the thing that I'm talking about.
yeah,
Like, you can literally have done nothing,
yeah,
but or maybe it's the way that you dressed, or somehow the way that you sang something or whatever can just click someone's mind or whatever, and then it's done for you. And
yeah.
it's done for you.
People are saying he's cheesy, but I'm like, but that's his thing. It's his music, you know, like how he
Look, I get it
performs
because
and
I get it because when we look at like, because I think of if it's cheesy, I think of Troy Bolton in High School Musical.
yeah,
Zac Efron was so cheesy, but
yeah,
I loved it. That was the cheese I was looking for. But then, obviously, if you're here in South Africa, I don't know if cheese is our thing.
yeah,
You know, yeah, especially when it comes to like artists and stuff like that. Like, I don't think we respond well to cheesiness. I think we're just like, when are you hiding something and I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? And I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's just my like
yeah,
thought process. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I think it's because he doesn't look like Troy Bolton as
I'm
he
so
is.
dead. Hey man,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I ain't gonna say nothing.
Okay. What's I think I asked you earlier on, but just to kind of go into it more, you do, besides like the artistic part, what do you do?
So I'm in communications and creative. So
Okay.
brand management, social media, that kind of stuff. And obviously songwriting as well, which has become quite an interesting business for me. I'm writing for other artists and not for myself, which
Okay.
has been a lot of fun. I think I like to stick to being creative, even if it's being creative for other people and not so much for myself.
Okay.
I'd like to stay in that space. So that's why I'm in that space. And yeah, it's a lot of fun right now. I'm really learning about building a brand and stuff like that, and what goes into that, what it entails from a social media perspective, from a communications perspective. So it's a lot of fun just being able to tap into different parts of myself, because I want to be a singer, but I also want to be in the office and
Yeah.
kind of brief people on deadlines and stuff. But I also want to be on stage, but also want to be at home, and be a mother and stuff like that. So there's a lot of parts of me that I really still want to explore.
Okay. Well, you said mother. You're also a mother.
No,
Oh,
no, 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 no. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like
Yeah.
I'm not right now. In the next 5 years, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to ask you on that. That if do you also write music from a mother's standpoint? But since
Oh no, 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 no. Yeah, no, guys, I don't have kids. I don't have kids, and I think it's for the best for me right now. Because yeah, no,
Okay,
I
no, it
love
makes
kids.
sense.
I
Yeah, it
love
makes
kids,
sense.
but
You
kids
have
are
to be
hectic.
ready to have kids. Okay. Is there any new music that's coming soon from you that
Yes,
we
there
can
is.
expect?
I don't have any dates in particular yet because we're finishing up some stuff, but
Okay.
there will be new music. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now be on the lookout for the music. Currently, right now, you have how many?
So my album is out, To Leave,
album
which
out?
came out last year in September. It'll actually be a year on the 27th of September.
Okay.
But yeah, I kind of took a bit of a break because I really just wanted to rediscover who I was, and I believe in evolution, so I'm constantly changing, and my love for music is has always been the same, but I kind of want to try different things with my voice and with my sound, and just to try and make it really me, as opposed to trying something because the world is saying I'm a piano, so we say I'm a piano.
So you wouldn't jump on a piano?
I have.
You have?
I have.
Okay.
It didn't change my life. So not in a bad way, but like, you know, I kind of just want to stick to the things that I love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't love Amapiano, but I'm just saying that like it's not the only genre that's out there. There's so many other genres and so many other ways to create music. But I just feel like right now where the world is, that's the only thing that kind of makes sense. Which sucks for artists who want to be predominantly hip hop artists or predominantly pop artists or predominantly R&B artists. It's very difficult to manage. Especially when you're not famous. Like you have to go into something to try and get to that level so that you can do what you want, but then you don't want to sacrifice who you are and what you want to do. So yeah, it's a
Does it piss you off when people get into the space and they're not really artistic, but they're just doing it for the money? Like then there's no talent whatsoever.
You know what, man? Everyone's journey is everybody's journey, and that's all I'm gonna say. Because if my journey is my journey because of how God wants it to be. And if I compare my talent to somebody else's, them being able to go shuku cuckoo, like that's a talent because I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I can't say that someone else, because they went onto a song with barely any work or barely any, effort, I can't say that I'm more talented than them or that they don't deserve that. That's their journey and that's what they got and that's what they deserve. And you know what I'm saying? So I can't say that, that person doesn't deserve that.
Okay, but I don't mean like people who do something differently creatively. I mean someone who has no talent whatsoever, and it's because maybe someone.
Yeah, no comment.
Maybe the producer is his brother. Or whatever.
You know what, guys? At the end of the day, you remember we said it's who you know. It's who you know. So again, I can't judge that. I can't judge that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, thanks for coming. But before you leave,
yes.
One last thing. Do you have any last thoughts, any words of wisdom, any wisdom nugget that you like to leave my audience?
Stay true to who you are and don't compromise who you are for other people. Even if you have to, don't do it. It's not worth it. And you are loved, you are special, and yeah, man, live in your truth, embrace who you are, embrace the people who love you, and yeah, man, keep fighting for yourself and for those that you love around you. So.
Yeah, and don't cancel people for no reasons. Okay. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll leave all the details in the description. Make sure to check her out. Check out the album that's currently out right now. But without anyway, sing anytime. Peace. Yeah, that's it.